next speaker is Vanessa Kopinski, but before she starts, there's a reason I asked you all to be unmuted. Why? Because today's Vanessa's birthday.
Yay!
I'm going to invite you to sing happy birthday to Vanessa. Ready?
Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, dear Vanessa.
Happy birthday, dear Vanessa. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Just to make me nervous that I have to introduce the next.
Okay, Vanessa, take a breath. Okay, ready?
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone. I hope you all had a great lunch break. I'm Vanessa Kopinski, and I'd like to introduce you to Daniela Platt, a concept-to-market strategist, author, and speaker. She's here with us to present Becoming a Sales Rockstar. Daniela is the founder of Looking Good, Yeah, Do As You Are, a brand strategy consultancy which specializes in people, products, and endless possibilities. She's known for her honesty, high vibe energy, and ideation. Hearing many creatives like us, image consultants, struggle with opening doors to sales, she also teaches how to sell, have a positive experience, create relationships, and conquer greatness with her 10 Commandments system. Daniela spent 20 years as top producer at fashion magazines and ad agencies, including the California Apparel News publication, BBDO, Blue Cherry, CGS, and is a fashion manuscript editor. She's crafted hundreds of campaigns for brands that fill your life like a Visa and Hugo Boss, and stretch like Lycra, earning a respected place in the industry. Help me give a warm welcome to Daniela.
Oh my goodness, it's so fun to hear other people introduce you. I'm like, oh, I don't need my first page. Good morning, everyone. Well, I guess it's afternoon and we're all sort of all around the globe. How's everyone doing today? Oh, I can't hear everyone. Can you guys, do you guys want to unmute for a few minutes so I could hear?
Sure, everybody.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Very
good. Doing great.
Awesome day.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to hear it. So this is like my favorite thing, you know, image and style and color and creativity. And I would have loved to have joined you guys all morning, and I happen to have 2 children, and my husband went to synagogue this morning, so I kept waiting at the door like, when will he be home? When will he be home? So I could kind of just jump online and be with you guys. This is really, really remarkable. So, well, I recognize a couple of people. Hi, Avis. Hi, Karen. So let me, do you guys want to do like a little screen share here? I have a little pretty PowerPoint just to kind of keep me focused with you guys. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Sure.
Okay. So let me try to get it to work. Everybody's like Brady. It's like we're on the Brady Bunch here. Good. Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys for welcoming me to this super exciting event. This is a really fun journey, and it's really fun to be picked. I like to say I was picked out of the crowd. I had met Karen when I gave a talk at Nashville Fashion Week, and there was something really magical about that event. I think we were all just super jazzed and pumped. I think we were kind of like, this is our new reality. This is it. It's the future of fashion. It's the future of sales. What are we going to do? Here we are. Let's just have fun with it. And there was like a lot of magic to that specific event. And it was really fun and full of smiles. And I also presented with Mary Gehlhar, who is the author of, it's called The Fashion Designer Survival Guide. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with that book, but her book is really a remarkable treasure as well. And the link that I just dropped is actually a link to, it doesn't have her, but in that link that I just dropped, it has a link to the Nashville Fashion Week talk. So if any of you guys want to see it and catch up, you're welcome to it. But yeah, so thank you for the introduction. So like I was just introduced, so I'm Daniela Platt. I've been known as I've been known sort of as the cheerleader for all. I'm always told you have so much energy. One of my favorite things in the world is to be a connector. And it's this magic that I personally truly am curious about everyone. So I show up with that curiosity, and every single person on this chat, like, I want to know your handle. So feel free to drop it. I want to know your email. I want to see what it is that you are working on. And that's what makes me a connector, because I'm truly, truly invested in what is it? What is that magic that you're doing? And then tell me what you're doing, and I'm going to just be engaged with it, and I'm going to be able to find other people who are going to be able to be your catalyst to really create something wonderful. This just popped up. Is it still okay on your screen? Because something just popped on mine. Okay, so who in the world is Danielle Platt? That's like slide 1, right? So it's really fun to be in this position of being a connector. So I'm the founder. I call my consultancy Looking Good Yeah, because it kind of came out when I had my second child. She's 2.5 now. I felt like crap. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever just not really felt that great about yourself, but you still have to like get out the door and you're fine. You just sometimes really have to show up. And I just said, you know what? You're looking good. You as you are, go. And that really kind of nurtured myself back to health, that mentality of telling myself, you're looking good, you as you are, go out and conquer. And that's really why I call the agency Looking Good Yeah. And really I really want everybody to know that you're looking good, you as you are. I spent probably 2 decades working corporately on brands that like Lycra, Hugo Boss, Cotton Incorporated. My very first job actually was Hawaiian Punch, and I had to walk through Manhattan wearing the punchy uniform. It was really cute and embarrassing, but we have to do what we have to do to get ahead. So today what I specifically do, and I want to invite you guys, maybe Karen or somebody, if there's questions that come up, because I don't always see the chat, but I want to invite you guys to sort of like engage with me rather than me just at you, engage with me. So if there's like questions and I don't see it, please like point it out. But what I do, I really specialize in 3 things. The first thing I do is, has anybody ever thought of having a fashion line as an additional revenue stream? And we're talking about like, Zoom to Peloton looks, like t-shirts, socks, fun things. So I help people if they're looking to add additional sources of revenue and add a fashion line to their business. I show people how to do that. The second thing I do is I link arms with brands really on the full strategy. Like, let's take your idea from the kitchen table or the boardroom and put it in the world. Like, that's what I really do. And that takes a while. And the third thing that I do, and that's really the reason I'm here today, is because along the process of going to trade shows and sitting with creatives and sitting with designers, I just have this, like I was saying, I have this ability to connect with people. I would talk to everybody. And creatives were saying to me, how did you open up that door? How did you get that appointment? It's flashing. So creatives were saying to me, how did you get that appointment? How did you open up that door? How did you know that person? How can I meet that person? And I just thought, how can I help you open up that door? I've been doing it for 20 years. What can I do to help a creative open up that door? Because if you're in the right position, and the phone can ring and they can call you and you could have your next incredible opportunity. And I watched my friends who are creatives just walk right past a trade show booth or right past somebody who could be a key person in their business. Just, why did you do that? And they would say, oh, they don't have business for me. And I would just say, go over and say hi and have a conversation. You don't know who they're married to. You don't know who they know. Just go and say hi. And I really taught creatives how to open up doors to be a success. And it turned into the 10 Commandments to be a Sales Rockstar and Fashion Startup Playbook. In fact, I wrote the book on it. It's called Looking Good, the 10 Commandments to be a Sales Rockstar and Fashion Startup Playbook. And so that came out. It came out in June. It hit bestseller in its category in textiles and fashion. And it's really been a fun journey. So that's kind of like where the launching pad is for where we are. So this is kind of fun. I have a free gift for you guys, and I just want to mention this before we kind of get into it. Like, if anybody wants, I know you be taking notes or taking screenshots along the way, but I do have 5 ways to be a sales rock star, 3 ways anybody can have a collection, and all the affiliates and so forth that I can give it to you for free. You can either email me for it or just drop your information in the chat and I will send it to you. So we kind of got into this. But I'd love to kind of hear, like, what, before I even start getting into it, like, what are your, we can even stop share for a second. Like, do you guys even have like a specific struggle? Like, I'd love to hear, like, what is it what's specifically bugging you right now? Can anybody just jump in? Like, what's bugging you right now with sales or
you can unmute yourself.
Would anybody like to share, like, what's your initial struggle? Like, is it sales? Is it networking? Is it exposure, PR? Like, what is your immediate hurdle? Connecting to people?
Anybody?
Anybody have, like, what's your struggle with sales?
So I would like to say, because of COVID-19, finding clients right now is a struggle. Yeah. Finding people that are actually interested in styling themselves and looking presentable on camera is a big struggle. Nobody cares anymore.
Wow, that's really important. Because your Zoom house really matters. We live here now, so we have to light it up. And I talk a lot about, you know, right now, this is like our above the keyboard looks. This is your real estate. This is what we have. You have to light it up. You have to dazzle and delight. You want to make sure your backdrop is, you know, as fabulous. You want to look the richest person in the room because you want your eyes to go to that person. And it is hard because it is hard to get that person to say, oh, I want to do this. But I think that people ultimately do want to do it. So there are some tricks which I can kind of jump in. Would anybody else like to share some of their pain points? Anybody else? All right, so I'll just jump back into what I call selling.
I would say time to create and connect, and also to launch new businesses and make sure that everything is in line. And then the time that it takes to post consistently. So to be a creator, to create things and to post. And then to have a full-time job. It's balance.
Time management. Well, balance is really key. And that's kind of, yeah, I mean, I could talk about time management and balance, but that's not a sales topic, but I'm sure a lot of you guys are going through the process of, like, as I say to my husband, I married you till death do us part, but I really never thought you'd be here for lunch. So, and like my girls, I'm like, why are you still home? You should be in school. So this is definitely a challenging time, but it's also a time to really be optimistic and a time to be opportunistic and find new ways to figure that out. So here, I'll share my screen again, and yeah, just throw in any questions that you have.
Oh, I think that had her hand raised.
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm always becoming aware of how do we always want to separate ourselves from the pack, that we're all image consultants, and I know you're a branding gal, so I would love how you would suggest, or not, is there things that we can look at, or how we look at ourselves, or how we look at our business to make us uniquely us?
Yeah, for sure. Sure. And that comes down to, you know, just throwing, like, having your background, like I'm looking at your background right now, and it would be nice if you had, like, your background is beautiful. I love it. You can totally turn it into a studio that's like has kind of some of your signage up front. You can use some of the similar sentences or statements all the time. You could do some, and let me get into it and I'll share with you. I'll pepper that in. I have some good ideas, but it goes with the presentation. That's a really good point, because you want to actually have your branding and stand out. But I do want you guys to know that you can get whatever you want as long as you get strategic about it and you get clear, and then you can go for it. The beautiful things, they take a little time, but we can absolutely do it. So, okay. So when I started thinking about what is it that is unique, why are creatives asking me questions about how do I become a sales, how do I make sales, how do I open up the doors for conversation? I heard my dad growing up used to say, when in doubt, make money. And I call this like the number one 10 commandment, the number one of the commandments. When in doubt, make money. And I kind of want you guys to always know to ask for what you want. Opportunities prevail and they come alive, but not necessarily in the way that you want. And there's a quote from Moneyball. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie with Brad Pitt. And he says, when you get the answer you want, hang up the phone. So, you know, that's sort of, opportunities come, and I want to encourage everybody, things might not come to you the way you want. You might think that you're going to make $5 on something and you end up making $1. Whatever it is, evaluate every opportunity, because within every opportunity, there is something good to take from it. At least evaluate it and put yourself in a position to say yes, or heck, if it's not a heck no, then maybe it's greatness. So evaluate every single opportunity that comes your way, but ask for what you want. Maybe it's a fashion runway show and it's online. Maybe you need stock images. Maybe you need, not stock images, maybe you need the photographer, high resolution images. Maybe you want co-oping promotions. And back to the question of how do you balance time? Maybe you actually need the company who's offering you the deal. Maybe they need to really up their social media so you get the exposure and they're doing the work. Whatever it is, make sure that when in doubt, make money. Like, put yourself in a position to find out the best way for you to be in position to make money or to grow yourself forward. But never run a deal where you're gonna regret. Never run a deal where you feel like, I am not happy here. Like, never put yourself in a position where you feel like you're being too undercut, but always evaluate every position. But before you even get to this part, you're still at the very beginning phases. And this is like where I really call, this is the beginning of how do you be a sales rock star. I used to call it let's be friends, the art of unselling. And I feel like now that we've been in this like funky home situation, everybody is forced to like take a step back, rethink things. Now I call it sales yoga. We are doing a little bit of stay calm, and, you know, a little bit of like yoga, like stay calm and carry on. I mean, so much has been happening. We have social distance, we have remote working, so I call this like stay calm, make sales. We're doing a little bit of sales yoga. Three things, like we've had 3 radical shifts in life happening. I mean, we have social distancing. We used to love like hanging out with our friends. I mean, now we're such a hug and kiss community, and now it's like, oh, I'm going to go around the corner. We also have 65 million people who are remote working. We have the acceleration of all things digital. So kind of like, how do you approach sales right now? So I call it sales yoga. When you talk to your clients, when you talk to your friends, just like remember where they're at. We really have to humanize the experience. You want to create the same, the results have to be the same as if you're in person. The results have to be the same, but the way to go about actually getting the results, that's going to be a little bit different. But we still have to do relationship building. We still want to grow our network. We know that the long run is what we're in for. We're not just in this for today. So what I encourage everybody to do, and this is really critical, ask a lot of questions. Think about people as if like they're in the same position as you are. People might be feeling a little numb, or people might be feeling this like need to just talk or get out more. So when you meet people, just start from a position of, it's about you. I know that the end goal is I have to enroll you in my ideas, but right now I need to understand who you are, I need to understand where you're at. So just start with asking a lot of questions, because remember, people might feel a little bit numb. You can even ask, and these are some really fun questions to ask. Ask questions like, so how do you make a grilled cheese sandwich? How do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? We're still in like the opening door phase. We're still in like these might even be your existing clients. We're still in this phase of like, we just want people to feel comfortable. And here's what happens. When you ask somebody, how do you make a grilled cheese sandwich? They could either say to you, I just put it in the frying pan and I'm done. Or they can get really detailed with you in terms of how they make it, what their process is. What this teaches you is how you need to talk to them. If they are somebody that's giving you a lot of details about how they make a grilled cheese sandwich, they are wanting to hear all the details that you have in your program and in your proposal. If they're being very short with you, that's how they want to be spoken to as well. So this will give you the idea of where their mindset is and how you can relate to them and how you could talk to them. So that's one way to just stay connected to them. The other thing, in terms of like growing your network, these events are great. I encourage everybody to keep going to these type of events and to grow your network. Have everybody, like we were saying, have everybody drop their handle into the chat and then really spend like 5 minutes to actually go to Instagram, to go to Facebook, to say, hey, let me look at what you're offering, to take 5 minutes to focus on the other person and just say, you know, ask those same questions. Like, I love what you're doing. You inspire me. Can you tell me what your mission is about in 5 minutes? And how do you make a grilled cheese sandwich? You're just going to learn a lot about that person. And in the process, there's so many networking events. Right now, being on screen and being on camera is it's so important psychologically and emotionally for people to be seen. People want this connection, so take advantage. And it takes a little bit, you know, it's 5 minutes more of our life on the screen that who really wants to take that extra initiative, but do it because you'll actually grow your network and you're going to find that an unlimited amount of people are really going to be receptive to you. So, you know, you're still here, you're in sales yoga, you're stay calm, you're going to make sales. Just ask a lot of questions. People are numb. Ask a lot of questions. People are numb. Get people, show people how you can help them. And just really like put it about that person first before it's you. And then when I get into the 10 commandments, I start saying like, and then over time, you'll be able to start to sprinkle in what is it that you do that connects to them. I call it bridging, but then you'll be able to do that. But right now, just ask these really fun questions. Where are people right now? People are in the mindset of, they're really thinking like, what do I need now? We're in a buy now, need now situation. So that's where people are. So that's where their mindset is. So that is sales yoga for you. But wait, there's more. I also like, as you have your clients and as you build your network, I call it like, give people virtual hugs. Send people gifts. You can even automate your love. You can send people VIP gift baskets. Give people like this unboxing experience. People love it. Like when I send my book to somebody, or you know, just people love this unboxing experience. Tell people that it's coming. Tell people that you're shipping something. Make it really fantastic. You know, repurpose that travel budget or whatever it might be. Put that into like an unboxing experience for the recipient because people are really feeling good about it. 100% of anything you mail gets opened. People are overwhelmed with texts and Facebooks and Facebook groups, and the list goes on. But 100% of anything that you mail to somebody is opened. So I highly encourage. You know, people love that tactile experience, especially when we're image consultants. Like we're in the business of like we want to feel, we want to touch, and how do you do that when you're so used to being with your clients who are all about like, let me sniff, let me smell, let's go for a walk, let me show you. How do I bridge that? Just ship them stuff and then try to get them on screen to open it so you can bridge that gap. So does that kind of connect with you guys? Like try to really just break down that barrier. And one other suggestion that I'm going to make is, you know, how do you keep your clients loving you for life? Like it's kind of cool, but you can actually, so it's so much work to send 7 handwritten notes to every client that you have for their birthday because you're thinking about them, but you can automate your love too. And it sounds really hokey, but I highly recommend it. My real estate agent, she does it 7 times a year. I get these handwritten notes from her. You can automate your client love and everybody will open it because it's handwritten and it shows up in their doorstep. So that's just another opportunity for you. There's 2 companies that I do like. One is called Banner Season. and there's codes and links available. The other one is called Thank You. Banner season allows you to like send brownies. So you were talking earlier, I think it was Alice, you were asking about branding yourself. Was it you? My screen's a little, who was asking about branding?
Annette.
Oh, right, there you are, Annette. I'm scrolling through my screen here. One of the nice things that the company like Banner Season does is we're gonna start like, let's say it's 7 times a year or every so often that you can actually brand your automated packages that you're sending to your clients. It could be brownies, it could be cookies, it could be a water bottle. You could actually send things with your logo on it. So even if it's just a mail piece, it's still specific to your image, your color wave, your packaging, but it's automated. So people have the consistent brand recognition of you, the constant top of mind reminder of you, but in your image and in your look, because that's what you want to continue, right? You want people to be like, oh, this is what she looks like. This is how it works. You want to keep that momentum going. So does that sound good? How does that sound?
Yeah, there's some comments over here. This is an awesome.
Do any of you guys have retail shops?
I love this idea.
With my screen up, I don't see the chat. Is there anything? It's an awesome idea. Yeah, it's great. It's really great because it's once, and it's really, getting organized and having an automation system set up is really critical. But this is a great way to balance your time. And every time I get something from my realist, she just sent me a Halloween candy, and I literally got me on the phone and called her. I'm like, I'm not selling my house yet, but thank you for the candy. You're the first person I'm going to call the minute I'm ready to sell. And it's not that high of an investment for you to just know that you're with your family and you're homeschooling or you're on the beach or you're living your life or building your business. But handwritten, personalized, tactile communication is going out. And I highly recommend just continuous, like love on your clients, like ask questions, meet them where they're at, and just continuously be in front of them, which is a hard thing to do, but there's ways and tricks to do it so they know that you're totally, totally present. So yeah. But does anybody have a retail store? Did anybody? I can't see. I guess.
You can unmute and say something or put a note in the chat if you do.
I don't think. I don't know if anybody has a retail store, but I do have like some tips to help you with retail, which I can email somebody privately. But the end of it all is like, how can you be funny? Here, if I stop the share, then I can see the chat. Okay, now I can see the chat. Great ideas. I love this idea. This is an awesome strategy. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's great. Just really like be in the presence of your clients and just ask questions. And they will, because the more questions you ask, the more you're in position for when opportunity is there for you. And if you don't ask, you have a 0% chance. But if you open up the door, you have a 50-50 chance to always be ready. So let me go back to the screen. So here we go. So you guys, so here it's just in terms of like actual like getting into it. Like this is a script that I use hundreds of times. Like if you're trying to open up the door for conversation with somebody and you are thinking, what do I even say? How do I get a response? What do I do? I don't know if they're even going to talk to me. This script I use 100 times a day, and it's part of the free, it's in the book, which I hope you guys buy, but it's also part of the free gift giveaway, so that I will send you the script or you can take a screenshot of it, but it works every single time. Every time I use this script, I get a response. I know you're super busy. My request is only going to be about 60 seconds. 1 or 2 sentences about who you are. Hi, I'm Karen, and I have a podcast called Eco-Conscious Living, and I'd really admire you to be a guest on my show. One very specific question about just dazzle with who you are, and one very specific question the recipient can answer quickly. Like, you're the best in the business of of shoes. I'd love for you to give me advice on one very specific thing, and it will only take 60 seconds of your time. You will always get a response. Like, I know you're super busy. You get a lot of email, you get a lot of voicemails, you get a lot of questions. 1 to 2 questions about who you are. And it doesn't even have to be like you've been doing it for so long. You can say like, I host the Creative Mingle podcast, and we bring on designers to talk about our line every single week. I'd love to show it to you and get your opinion for 1 or 2 minutes and see if you'd be interested in being a guest on our show. Whatever it is, make it dazzle, delight. And one or two, just like one response would make my day. And everybody responds to this quote. Everybody responds to this request. Like even 1 to 2 line response would make my day. And if you're trying to meet somebody and you're trying to land kind of a bigger client, you know somebody's really busy, you're now flattering them, you're asking them for 60 seconds, you're dazzling them with delight, you're acknowledging that they're busy. So you're telling them, I'm only asking for like 10 words, just 10 words, and you will make my day. I use the script 100 times a day, and it always works. So try it. If anybody wants to give it a shot right now, by all means. So that is like, so this is all still part of sales yoga. You know, you're still in this like early phase. You're still kind of growing your business. This is going to take you to the point when you're going to, you know, start to get your guesses, start to close, but you're still like right now, you know, you're still like, when in doubt, make money. You still got to kind of get there, but this is like, you're still opening up the door. So this is my favorite all-time script.
So there was a question. Vanessa Kabinski said there was a hard time selling to close friends than to strangers, and why? And that she has a hard time doing that. And is there any way to pass through that barrier?
I never like to sell to close friends. I actually prefer to sell to strangers. And I think that that's just your friends. And that's a very personal thing. I find that a lot of, and it could also be men, women, and what it is that you're selling as well. But I find that when you're trying to sell to close friends, there's that like, where does my friendship end? And they're always selling to me. And nobody really likes to be in a friendship position with their friend who always feels like they're selling to me. But then again, if your offer is just transactional, it's possible that, you know, they can come and get their, you know, quick stamp and go, then it makes sense. Or if it's a restaurant, they come, they order their food, they leave. There's not really a personality and relationship that's heavily invested into it. But strangers usually are coming to you because you've created so much value. That's what you're trying to get to. You're trying to get to a place where you've created value. And the strangers they're not strangers, that you've warmed them up. They're in your world right now. They're practicing sales yoga with you. You're giving them, and you're delighting them with all your joy and everything that you're offering. And that's really business. Don't try to sell your friends. Try to sell what you're great at. Don't sell your friends. That's where you're going to grow. You're only going to grow inward with your friends. Do ask your friends though for referrals.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough one, and I also see a lot of. I see it working for some reason more so for men than women, but I also it's time served too with your friends in the business of image consulting and in the business of and consulting in general. It's hourly. How do you quantify your time and your hourly when you're with your friends? With your clients, you can be very didactic and very specific, and it takes you on a journey that you're using a different part of your brain because you don't know all the details about your client. When it comes to your friend, how do you say, okay, how do you turn it off? Okay, our hour is over. How do you sort of like say, well, when can we talk about this part of our relationship? It's often too interconnected. It's very hard to separate. And I think I go through this, and we all probably go through this. I have some friends that are such, you know, they're huge in their field, and I would love to work with them, but I can't break that barrier that I see them only as my friend. So you kind of have to just play it right. And if your friends are interested in your services, great, but also be cool about it too. Like, this is how I work. I work hourly. These are my rates. I will give you my full attention, but I also want you to know that I'm treating you like a client. And then separately, like this is our client time. It's from 3 to 4 p.m. And then afterwards, we can go back into our friendship zone. But you have to be really clear. Otherwise, how do you get out of that zone? And you want to grow anyway. You want to get, you want to grow as big as you can. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight. And then here's just an interesting tip. I think that this is really just to be mindful as you're talking to people. Use really powerful words. And again, this is all in the this particular piece is in the book. The sales yoga, not all of it is. But just be mindful of your words. Use words like I believe, not I think, because you want to really control the conversation. Like I believe this will happen, not I think it will happen. Use words like I will, not words like I can. They're just stronger words. Because you always want to come from a place of leadership. You don't want to guess things to happen. You really just want to stand by your statement. And those are ways for you to really, because sales, you're right now, you want to be the leader. You want to lead. Sales is leadership. You're taking people on this incredible journey for them to love you. And right now there's the choice that they can make, right? Like you could show them your gorgeousness and they're going to want it because you're either solving a problem or you're filling something that gives them with joy. So they need to know that you have it. So you have to go for it. So you have to be strong in your words, but you need to sell them. You need to tell them about it so that they can engage with you and take it from you. And if you don't, somebody else will, because people want it. So you really need to open up that door for people to communicate with people so people can have your information and be strong about it and take people on this journey and lead people and be strong about it, because you're going to solve somebody's problem or you're going to dazzle them with the light. You're going to make them feel amazing. And I always tell people, like, does it make you dance? Like, people buy things that just invigorate them and it makes them dance. So, be strong with your words, be fabulous about it. Use your branding, because if you have a color scheme, people really recognize that when you're matchy and you kind of fit the same vibe. Like, people really connect with that and will eventually, like, you're creating your own world, and people really will identify with you and really like that about you. So yeah, but just remember, like, you're in a position, like you're gonna sales, you're transforming somebody's life. You're sharing with them like something that is going to make their life so much better. Here's some tricks. Do you guys I always tell people, I gave a class the other day to a university and I was like, so tell me, what is it that you're creating? And he told me what he was making, but I make t-shirts and they're white and I like oatmeal. So I call the collection oatmeal. And he just stopped. And I encourage you guys to talk in questions. In social media, we say, like, we call it engagement. Like, you always want to end with a question, right? So just try to get in the habit of talking questions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just if you're gonna throw down a statement, just say at the end, would you agree? And then when you get to, like, you kind of so the beauty here is, one is when you get to start hearing yeses. Yeah, I agree with that. You're going to know what is it that people like. Like, as you're having your conversations with people, they're feeling a little numb. You're asking them about the grilled cheese sandwich. Start to, like, talk to them about, here's what I'm seeing. Here's where the market's going. Here are the trends. Do you like this? Do you like that? What are your needs now? Are you living the Peloton to Zoom life? Are you out? Like, you're going to start to get those yeses. And when you imagine like you have a string. And just start to get those yeses, and, like, every time you get a yes, pop a bead on the string. And when you get to, like, 5 or 6 yeses, just repeat them back. So, like, okay, so you like this and you like this and you like this. Let's do it. Like, you have a deal now because you've got into, like, 5 or 6 yeses. You also know what they don't like because you've said, do you like this or this or that? Start talking in question. I just like to say, would you agree? Do you disagree? What do you like? And then you can ask, what do you like about it? What do you don't like about it? But this way you're going to get to where you need to go. And the truth always comes out. Here's a little funny thing. Usually if you ask the same question 3 times, the 3rd time you ask the question, like, hey, how was your day? What'd you do today? Did you like it? The first time is like, it's okay. The second time is like, the third time you ask the question, you get the truth. And that's like ultimately what you want, right? You want to be with your clients so they're totally giving you what is it that they need. And now you totally know. So you've said yes, 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 yes. And this is what we want. And here it is. Great. We're done. Like, let's do it. We get the answer you want. Let's sign the deal. Let's close. So that's why, like, this whole thing, you know exactly what they want, and now you can totally deliver. So hopefully that kind of helps you. And I think, I mean, we have like 15 minutes left. I don't want to kind of overwhelm you, but do you guys have any questions? I mean, there's a couple more like juicy nuggets I could share, but before I go on, I just kind of want to pause. And
there was a question, Daniela, from Viola Meng.
Okay.
And she's asking, do you find different strategies selling to women and to men?
Yeah, I mean, but I find different strategies selling to anybody in general. And that's really when it comes down to ask questions. The grilled cheese sandwich is kind of the funny one, but you can ask scrambled eggs, or you can put it in your own language. Like, have you ever thought to build a house? You know, maybe they're a construction worker. Put it in some language that makes sense for the person that you're talking to. Do you ever mow your own lawn? I mean, you could ask something so crazy, but that makes sense. You know, have you ever tried surfboarding, or what was the first time? Tell me about the first time you were surfboarding. Because like out here, you know, in LA, I'll go to a trade show, or especially if I go down to Orange County, I'll be like, so what's it like when the first time you hit a wave? Like, just ask something in their language, whether it's a man or a woman. Ask something in their language, and then you'll be able to kind of figure it out. It's a hard one.
Yeah,
but you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, ask, go on. I mean, it's definitely like the gender gap is definitely there. But also what you do is really there too. And I look at my dad as somebody my dad was a man of style, and he relied on an image consultant more so than my mom, because my mom knew how to shop. So it's sort of like you can be really clear with. So it's really a personal thing, but so I think how you position it can be different. And I can work one-on-one with you about that, because I feel like I have a lot of ideas, but I'm kind of trying to be really general. But I definitely think like there's different ways to position yourself, because men's needs from an image standpoint are different than a woman's needs. But ultimately, everybody needs to look great, because, right, we all need to dress like a VIP, because when you dress like a VIP, you feel like a VIP. And how do you command the room? You need to have the right image. And it's both men and women.
Thank you.
There's just a comment from Annette Bond. She said she makes that you make her smile with your energy, and I totally agree. So how do you keep your energy level up? It's amazing.
How do I keep my energy level up? Well, that has definitely been fun. How do I keep my energy level up? That's just who I am, and that's kind of why. I mean, if you guys, I would love to work with you guys and do all sorts of things. This is just my personality. What you guys do is what I love, and I've spent more than 2 decades, you know, working at the apparel news, working for fashion magazines and various different ad agencies. And I will walk into a textile showroom. Like there's here in LA, we have Texalini, we have Eagle Fabrics. I will walk into this room of just rolls of fabric, and my head spins. I don't know what to do with anything. It's all gorgeous, but I cannot figure it out. But what I can do is give me a finished product, and I could place it in the right hands and really just help you take it from the boardroom. Whoever goes to a boardroom anyway these days, I can help you take it from your kitchen table into the world. So I'm just going to leave you with, okay, like I have a couple of offers, but I'm just trying to pace my time, because I never know how long things are going to take. Okay. But just also another cool tip, and this is kind of my last one. When you are positioning yourself with offers, you ever go to like a diner and there's 40,000 things on the menu and your mind is like, I don't know. This is how you're going to get your way for dinner. When you're putting offers to your clients, just give them two choices, and package whatever you want into it. You know, like it could be big choices like, hey, I have package A and it has 75 things, or I have package B and it has 65 things. And there's different, I can talk to you like more on a one-on-one basis about how you want to package your specific things. Like, do you want, there's all sorts of different strategies, but when you start to package things into 2 options, people will say, I like a little bit of A and I like a little bit of B. And before you know it, you even have a bigger package. But what happens here is now that their client only has to make one decision, A or B, they start to own it because they start to think, well, if I get, it's like shopping for like TV, right? Like, if only you could get this package with a little bit of Dish and a little bit of direct TV. You're like, you want to have it all, but you want to have it your way. What happens here is your client starts to think, I like a little bit of this and I like a little bit of that. Your client now is coming up with like package C, and it's bigger than A and B. And not only that, they're so excited about it because they've now created it themselves. And here's where you can get your upsell too. Like, well, you know what? I could do that, but, and then throw in the last thing that you want. So just, and this kind of can get like a really fun and creative, and I could work with you one-on-one about this, but package things in 2 options, A or B, and they could each be $50, and you could compare and contrast 50 for this, 50 for that, or they could be totally radically different. Like, for $50, I get 4 things, but for $500, I get 1,000,000 things. What a better value. So you kind of have to figure that out, but that's kind of like a good rule of thumb. And it works for dinner too. I don't know if you guys have ever done this. You're like, hey, so what do you want for dinner? And like, at least my kids are like, nothing. But okay, how about noodles or chicken? And they could say to me, oh, mommy, let's have noodles tonight. We'll have chicken tomorrow. And then maybe Friday we'll have sushi, and Sunday we'll have barbecue, and Monday we'll have Thai food. Like, if you give people options, it allows people to focus. And then, not that anybody ever goes to sleep hungry, but it allows people to really focus and deliver on, it allows people to focus, and it allows you to kind of, remember, you're in sales, but you have your own business, you're leading the journey. So you're really like, take A or B, and then let's figure it out. So that's it. I'm gonna just, I like to tell this story. Have any of you heard of this shoe company called AICI Shoes?
No.
I figured I would put in a pretty pair of shoes. It's always nice to look at shoes, right? Take a pause for shoes. And I'm not by any means selling their shoes. But I like this story. So I write a column on women innovators, and I interviewed them. I found them on Create and Cultivate on Facebook. And what happened was Samantha fell down. She fell down the mountain. She fell down Mount Kilimanjaro.
Oh.
And a bucket list. Like, she fell down the mountain. I'm like, oh, roll. So she falls down Mount Kilimanjaro, and she can't wear heels anymore. I think she was working at like Goldman Sachs. She was a banker. All of a sudden, she's like, I cannot wear heels anymore. So you guys can, like, the travesty to be in your 20s and you can't wear heels. So I use this as an example of both women are unstoppable. We can do anything. You can do anything that you set your mind to. You just have to have the idea, and ideas come in all sorts of places. Whether you fall down Mount Kilimanjaro, or whatever space that you're in to incubate an idea. Ideas happen all the time, but you could truly do it. And I use this as an example of like how unstoppable you are, and you could truly do anything. The other 2 things that I think are really remarkable, and this is what I wanted to point out. By the way, they have flats now, thank God. And that's at least for me and a mom of like, I can't walk. She did give me some codes here. If you guys actually, I can introduce you guys. You guys are image consultants, so I'll introduce you. But she did give me these codes. Here's the thing. It's about market research too. She went out and she interviewed women to find out what is it that would interest them in heels. So she worked with a podiatrist, and there are apparently 3-inch heels that feel like 1 inch, and I'm waiting for my pair to show up to prove that. But she found that that there's no such thing as, there's no one color nude. Nude comes in, like, at least according to their research, nude comes in 5 different shades. So women, you can create anything, and men, I just say this because she's a woman, but you can create and do anything, but market research and targeting is really important. But you can do anything, and I just love that they did this. So I like to just put this out there. And in the link also, these codes are listed in the link that I dropped. But I just think this is cool. Like, it's just to show you the possibilities of what could be. So that's it. Can I ask you guys, I hope that something that I've given to you today helps you in some form, at least if my energy is, giving you a little dose of caffeine. I hope that I've given you some tips. It's really, I'd love to talk to all of you guys and find out like where you're at. You know, I'm happy to do like, you know, I'm happy to do a call with everybody. I love what you do. So I'd love to hear where you're at. But hopefully I've encouraged you guys with a little bit of goodness. I would love to ask you if you're inclined. I have my book. It's on Amazon. I would love for you to purchase it. And I also yesterday, this is actually kind of crazy, this book. This is called One Habit for Entrepreneurial Success. Look how big it is. It's 800 pages. I did it in collaboration with like Forbes Riley, who's a mentor of mine. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Forbes Riley. She's a billionaire. She's known for like Body by Jake, Spin Gym. She's the one who brought like Jacqueline Juicer to the world. So I did it in compilation with her. So if you guys, I'd really love if you could like, I put the link here on Amazon, but it's also on the link that I dropped. I'd love if you buy both. I don't care if it's Kindle edition or print, I don't care. But I'd love if you buy it, you know, tag me, post, and I will boost it. The One Habit book, I'll boost to Forbes 2 million followers as well. So hopefully you learned a little bit and you're inclined to buy a book. I would really love that. And then I just want to remind you guys that I have my free gifts. I always thought it's fun to be on a billboard. So so I have my free gifts, you know, how to be a sales rock star, Zoom edition, as well as great ways that I don't know if you guys have retail stores or think about having collections, but I also have 3 ways to dress like a VIP, but I feel like you guys can teach me that. So yeah, so all this is in the link that I dropped. And lastly, I'm just going to mention, it's the end of the year, and normally I like to do like 8 to 12 week boot camps. If you guys have the mindset for that, we can, but I feel like right now, let's just do 5 weeks. I have a couple of people signed up just to offer coaching, consulting, 5 weeks. I'm going to package in everything. I like doing like, you know, go one-on-one with your business. I keep things really small so I can help you kind of on an individual basis, how to be a sales rock star, how to do promotions. I'm going to give you the scripts also about how to pitch PR so we can get you on stages and press. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, my plug, I didn't realize this, my plug came out and it just told me battery. There we go. Okay, we're good. So yeah, I'm going to do a 5. I think just like that's like the right, of course, if you say to me, hey, Dee, we want 12 weeks. I want you to take me into 2021. Let's do it. Great. But for right now, I'm kind of like, I think that people just feel really good about like, let's get through the holiday season. Let's get in position for 2021. Let's do something really fun. So I have a 5 week, I can email you the details, but generally speaking, it's going to be 5 weeks. We're going to do small groups. I'm going to help you with sales coaching on a very one-on-one basis. I'll help you put together the packages that you are looking to take to the world. I'll help you with the verbiage and the narrative, help you get exposure on press. The more platforms you can be on, the wider network you can cast. And I can help you with all of that. I can also take you behind the scenes of like, I don't know if you guys are how familiar you are with like the Designers and Agents trade show, the Magic trade show, but I can also take you kind of behind the scenes to what they're doing through my connections over there. So that is my coaching program. Usually it's about, if anybody's interested, can I email you the rates privately unless you want me to give you, if anybody wants rates now, I'm happy to talk to you about that now, but I do have this program available. I'd like to email you guys about it. I also offer press releases once a month and one-on-one business development services and meet Forbes Riley. And I'm going to package it in. I have 15 hours of recorded workshops on how to be a sales rock star and fashion startup playbook. It comes free. So I'm going to stop sharing.
And just to interject here before we get to more like live questions, everything that I was talking about, if we go to that, if you go to that page on our website, the vendor fair page, her contact information's there, link to her all her contact information, it's there too. So just to let you guys know.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, if you guys, at the very least, if you guys, hopefully this helped you and you can get the book. I'd love to see it on Facebook and both books. I can't believe I have 2 books and this one went to be a bestseller. Like, that's crazy. It's so big. 800 pages with 300 habits that are supposed to change your life. And I wrote how to dress like a VIP and live life without limitations. Say yes to everything. And then mine. So thank you. Yeah, and I'd love it if there's anybody here that wants to talk about doing the 5-week private coaching, group coaching, because I think it's just more interesting when people come together and share ideas. I'm happy to do it one-on-one, but I always find it more interesting when we're in groups of like 4 or 5 people, like, oh, you have that problem, I have this problem. And then we tend to spend more than like, instead of like 55 minutes, we end up spending about 90 minutes, but like people really, we're home, we want to kind of come together. So I find the groups really, really are enjoyable. So if anybody's interested, you know, I'd be happy to sidebar with you. But what questions? How's everybody doing?
Yeah, let's
open up the mics. Did everybody drop me their email address? I promise to not send you spam. I just wouldn't want to be able to follow up with you post event, if that's okay. How's everybody's sales?
Eh.
Thank you. Okay, that's why I want to hear, like, what are your hurdles? What are it's hard, especially, it's hard. I mean, people are home, but image is really important. And
Right.
do you feel like, do you feel like the men versus women? I mean, who are most of your clientele? Is it more women or more men? Who's reaching out?
Anybody?
I have a bit of both, and it went from 0 to slowly being steady again.
Okay.
Because I feel like people are kind of tired of being in their sweats,
Mm-hmm.
or they're heading back into work part-time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're wanting to dress for virtual too. So it's a bit of both. So I feel like it's slow but steady. But at this point, I'm okay with slow and steady because I feel like that's where everybody is at right now, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else? I hear that. I'm glad to hear people want to feel good again, and it's definitely winding down. The winging it is winding down, and people, there's truly, how you look really, really affects your psychological ability to focus. And I have a friend, he only wears Gucci shoes when he signs deals, and it really makes a difference. So I think that it's really important what you do. Where's everybody else? All right.
Fabulous. Anybody? We've got her here. We have her undivided attention.
Yeah, I'm here to say yes.
Or
Who wants to tell me how to make a grilled cheese sandwich?
I love that question. Now I'm hungry. Okay.
Oh, so if that question makes you hungry, you don't have to go with food, but food is kind of a universal. Food, and especially when you go with something so simple, like so comforting, people can relate to it, either as an adult late night snack or their kids' food, or it takes people somewhere. If you start to like ask things that are a little more complicated, you have to know your audience. Target your question to your audience.
Makes perfect sense. Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Well,
Cool.
any other questions or comments for Daniela? I see a lot. Daniela, there's a lot of emails in the chat for you.
Oh, thank you. I better remember to save it. Right here, we got it. Save chat. Here, so I'll just drop my contact. You got it. So everything that I spoke about, like the automating your love, the workshops, everything is in there. The only thing that's not in there is the package for the coaching. That's not in there, just because that I want to talk to you guys about, because I'm designing it, but I want it to be like, as I talk to people, everybody's needs are a little different, but it's specifically focused on sales and packaging and presenting and so forth. But I want to kind of like, it's not in there because it's very detailed, and I didn't get the details in. But yeah, everything else is in this link.
That makes sense.
And feel free to just text me too. If you guys want the free gift, I'm going to send everybody the free gift today.
Well, that's kind of cool. Awesome. Okay. Well, if there's no other questions, I will just say, wow, Daniela, thank you. I mean, like a lot of people have saying, the energy that you brought to us today and all these really cool and interesting and totally usable ideas to up our sales games. Because as you said, sometimes creatives, not necessarily our strongest suit. So every tip that we can get from you, thank you so much.
I just laughed because I heard you say suit. I was like, well, but suit. That's your point. Here's the link. I'm just going to put this in here. This is the link to the Nashville. Oh, shoot. I didn't click. Here we go. This is the link to the Nashville talk where you and I met, which was about the future of fashion. And that was really interesting.
You guys, that was a good talk. You need to go. Please watch that. That was a good talk.
It was really good. There's the Nashville link. And there's me. Cool. All right. Who's next? I think my husband took the kids, so now I'm ready for some style.
Anybody else? Are we good? We're good? All right, Danielle, well, thank you so much. This was an amazing session. So yay, thank you, everybody wave. Woohoo, we love you.
Thank you, Daniela.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Fantastic.